So hello,
Oh my
welcome you back
gosh.
to... Yes?
I just realized. Those are supposed to be legs. Like
What
it's supposed to be
did-
somebody's butt, and then their front leg, and then their back leg.
Yes.
That's what it is.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was just a different way of showing electricity, since electricity is typically associated with wind, in these games.
Yeah. No, it's just like...
Because you can see how I would think that looking at it, but now I see it. Yeah.
I mean, we do
Well,
already
you're
have...
banned from YouTube now, by the way, because that is clearly not clothed. I thought I was wearing a yellow onesie.
No, it's
But
man's
I'm pretty sure
legs,
it's just
then
naked
it's
Simpsons
fine.
character.
It's man's legs, it's fine.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I mean, we
To the
want
left is chocolate, and to the right is vanilla. Anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, you wouldn't... I mean, if it's men's something, then it's fine. If it's women's something, that's just not right.
That's what I've learned through the years. Yes, actually, Twitch's terms of service forbid men or women from appearing shirtless on stream. True facts.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I think what happened was there are a bunch of fat guys going shirtless on stream for lulls, and Twitch felt uncomfortable.
I mean, that could be the only reasonable reason. But yeah, in this part where I'm going to go back to a lot of the previous locations. This is a miracle diary. You only get 2 of those in the game by finding them, and they allow you to save anywhere, as opposed to just at the beginning of the dungeon, like the record
or at the sanctuary. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But this is gonna be pretty quick because you see what I'm dealing with here.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like most of these items just aren't necessary or useful, so I wouldn't have bothered.
No, but also you have this game does not have a very good guide, so I'm just trying to find everything, and some of them are not very useful, but they're very entertaining.
Oh yeah, the items actually do stuff, but
Yes.
record books and miracle
Oh,
diaries
yeah.
and yada.
Definitely half of those record books should have been replaced with medicines.
Yeah.
At the very least. I'm not gonna say anything bad about the herbs, because the herbs are fantastic and they go really well with honey lattes. But it's just then you also get the dazzle herb.
Which is a monkey? Oh my gosh. What are we doing? Why are we making the illusion of monkeys to spook our
Just
opponents?
To bedazzle the enemies. It's not.
Does
what I
it
wanted
actually
to do.
affect them?
I'm not exactly certain of anything anymore.
So you're not going to show us right now if it...
I'm trying to. I'm actually gonna try eventually, but I don't actually think they do anything. Also, the enemy behavior is so sporadic.
It's impossible to tell. That I can believe.
It's impossible to tell if the AI actually does anything differently. But there was another thing in this dungeon that we couldn't pick up before because we didn't have the right equipment.
Ah.
I could have done this
I
differently.
like that the spider is just walking on the air, too.
Yeah, they don't have to care about that. But yeah, I could have gotten this differently if I just had the regular jumping shoes. It's not a big deal. Here, however, you do need the Pegasus helmet.
Pegasus helm. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I would have been able to also jump this, but it would be
I was about to say,
kind of difficult because there are walls.
because of the switchback. Yeah.
Then we get a medicine, finally something that's actually sort of not really worthwhile.
Yeah. I feel like, if this was a modern game, they would have put, concept art
Yeah, instead of half of the record books that you find.
Yeah. Because I feel like what happened was they were like, oh, they did not plan out what should go in the places. They just said, this is a cool way to hide something. This is a cool place to put something. And then later they just decided, oh, let's put something here and something there.
It actually makes
record
even...
books, medicine.
This actually is a very relevant argument, because there is exactly 100 items to find in the game to make 100% completion very easy to calculate.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, they might have had a plan to put more plot-important elements in all those places, but maybe in play testing or early testing, people were having trouble finding things and getting stuck. And so they were just like, let's just make it this stuff.
It's possible that they thought, oh, maybe let's just limit to this many. Although I would have also found it more appropriate if they had less record books or more healing items. But here,
yeah, how many record books do you get?
Way more than you ever need.
Well, my point is, you that at most you'd use one at the beginning of every dungeon, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually.
And so that's how many there should be. If there's any more, it's pointless.
I mean,
Also,
you could also use them like several per dungeon, but the dungeons aren't that long. But yeah, you have a car. It's a reference to Daytona, USA, and it controls horribly. But it's hilarious, and it unlocks a mini game right here.
I like that he's like, your dad is sick. Wait, you want to race?
Oh, you have a spiffy ride. Okay. Do you want me to arrange this racetrack on the field? But yeah, if you make
you have to talk to him while using the car?
No.
Oh.
I just want to, you have to just have the car in your inventory, and he will notice it. Now...
I always hate these kind... This is the thing where, like, left and right are relative to the car, not relative to the direction you're going,
exactly.
Right? Yeah, I always hate these kinds of races.
And also, they changed the way the acceleration works for the vehicle. Whereas normally, you get up to a speed and then hold the button to hold the speed. You have to keep mashing the button, regardless of what configuration you use for that. And
so this is where you used your turbo controller, and
I don't have my turbo controller. I just had very blistered thumbs.
I gotta say, you're doing a pretty good job of controlling it.
It is.
You haven't hit most things.
I mean, this is like the 6th time I'm doing this, so yes.
And there was one of these things in Golf Story. You have to... Golf Story had some weird mini games, and there was also one of these in Ukulele. People just like game developers love putting this kind of little race track with the relative controls.
I hate these relative controls, especially for races. I remember there was a Nintendo 64 game that used controls similar to this, and I played it for like 2 minutes, and I was like, yeah.
I think the reason that's so annoying is because it requires a constant translation from your brain to the... because your point of view never changes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But the cars does.
Yeah, there's only one game where these controls were actually done in a way that didn't make me sick.
Oh my gosh.
Yay!
What?
Yay! Yay! Yay!
What? Are they going to eat you? Are they? You're being eaten.
I mean, they are gingers.
What? What did you get for that, though?
The satisfaction.
Also, that was hilarious. He was lying in bed injured from you running into him, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as he saw you at a car, he was filled with so much vim and vigor, he made an entire racetrack. And then while watching you, he hurt his neck so bad that he has to go back to bed. But if you instill him with the... I think he was never hurt at all. I think he just is trying to make your grandma do all the housework.
I mean, for all we know, that may be possible. And here I'm doing the race again in order to show off a certain hilarious glitch that you can do using the Miracle Diary.
Oh.
Because remember, Miracle Diary lets you save anywhere.
Right.
And I mean literally anywhere. Now, this race ends the moment you disequip your car. Which, you know, if you already know you're not gonna win, you may as well just use that as a means of resetting it, which I've used a bunch of times. But the Miracle Diary, if you use it you can use it anywhere, and I mean anywhere. You can use it in the middle of this minigame, and when you do, reload the save, the timer resets to 0, but it still remembers where you were on the track and how many laps you've done.
So what you're saying is, this is the super elite hacks for not being able to beat this without having to practice it.
Exactly. Also, interestingly enough, doing this actually results in an additional, results in a reward. However, that reward does not count towards 100% completion of the game.
Question.
Yes?
Why were we devoured by a bunch of redheads after we won? Like, is it? Are we supposed to have spectators? Like, is the whole town supposed to be here watching us drive this car in this that is roughly the size of our body? The timer keeps going if you're paused.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Not really.
So you saved.
So I saved. And then I used the button combination. I believe I used the button combination for resetting the Saturn.
Which is a spaceship, as we all know. That's why it's called a Saturn.
Actually, I think I just pressed the reset button in here. Yeah, I pressed the reset button. Never mind. It works either way. You just have to get back to the main menu, reload the save data, and then you're good. You just get 0 seconds, 0 minutes, and 0 whatever.
Is she in the? I forget. Is she actually in the story at any point, or?
Yes, she was the inciting incident lady.
Oh, that's right.
See, even though he specifically asks you to do the free laps now, it still remembers that I've done the free laps at this point.
And less than a second.
Mm-hmm. And you get a small orb for it. Like I said before, this item actually is not required for 100% completion. It does not count, and I believe that you just left it in the game for the lols. Because it has absolutely no practical application.
It doesn't let you go through things you need to slide through without sliding?
I haven't tried it for that, but I don't think it does.
Because that's the only thing that pops out to my mind immediately.
Yeah, honestly, that would...
Is it easier to get to maximum acceleration when you're small, or...?
No. But yeah, it's another one of those items that you just get for the lols. There's another one that...
Interesting how much is like that in this game.
Yes. I wish they actually, like, a lot of them did actually have some sort of a, like, actual use.
But the more you do that, the harder it is to make it so that things get lots of use, you know?
Yeah, like how it is in most 3D Zeldas.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, we do have more items, but fuck if you're ever gonna use the fire arrows for... No, fire arrows were pretty useful.
Well, yeah,
you know,
elemental arrows tend to be pretty... Well, fire arrows.
Fire arrows, and then ice arrows you need to use once.
Yeah. You need to use them to beat Twin Rova.
Mm-hmm. Well, you use them in that dungeon and then never else. That's what I mean.
So, I forget what they're trying to resurrect a giant.
Yes. Sega Giant.
Sega Sanshiro. They're trying to resurrect Sega Sanshiro.
Mm-hmm. I missed the Dyslex orb.
Which reverses your controls.
Exactly.
Fun. So they're trying to resurrect Sega because he'll do their bidding and make them rulers of the land?
Something like that. I mean, to take over the world, they're bad guys, you know. Standard. And
Pinky in the brain
we're just
style
collecting
plotline.
orbs.
If it's round, you want it.
Yep. Definitely. Also, if it has barely any function, I want it even more.
The more superfluous, the better.
The less used, the more Mars wants it, because he wants very specific things for very specific functions, as we have established. He carries a Discman, an MP3 player, as well as a dedicated MP4 player with him at all times.
Not to mention his portable Betaflop D beige device.
Mm-hmm. Beige 2 to be exact. He does still keep the beige one for certain discs that don't have perfect color recreation on the older displays.
Now you're making me imagine that, like, the difference is like using the Super Game Boy. You know?
Yes. Although Super Game Boy, there was actually a difference between using a Super Game Boy and the Game Boy player. If I recall correctly, the games didn't run correctly on the Super Game Boy. Like there was something really off with the clock.
Well, also, didn't every game on the Super Game Boy have color, even if it was just monochrome? Like, they would make it have a color?
That was just a feature that the Game Boy Color had already. Like, for example, the original Pokemon doesn't have colors, but if you play it on the Game Boy Color, it does. But that's just like you can actually set up a different color palette for it. It's colorized, it's not actually in color.
So it just, like, reads how gray something was and assigns some color to it? Or...
Yeah, you can actually choose between whether it will be shades of purple or shades of green or whatever.
Oh, and yeah, that's what I thought.
And some games were actually, like, cross-compatible, so they worked on both systems.